Welcome to YinRadioTV. I'm Rory Kelly Connor, and I'm the Love Queen. Tonight's show is the third in a series of love monologues, Lessons in Love. I'd like to talk to you tonight about mind control teachings, specifically how these teachings have created a war on love. You know, as a spiritual teacher and a coach and a strategic advisor, and also as a former PR guru, I watch what is being sold and propagated in my marketplace, by my industry and in the world in general. I pay attention to what comes up with clients as blocks to their healing and their success. I see what works in relationships and what is broken in relationships, both personally and professionally, all in the context of love. Now, I see untruth is often sold as truth every day in our media and in the marketing mix of business. I see cultural dogma destroying relationships, destroying trust and faith, and this ends up destroying love. I see PR spin that's used to create fake movements that divide and destroy, to confuse and lie. As consciousness continues to rise, and we are in a time of rising consciousness where people have learned more, they're opening up in an awareness to all that humanity is from a divine and human perspective, is rising. And we're flooded with an extraordinary amount of information, both good and bad. The amount of resources and workshops, books and articles, not to mention millions of quotes and tweets guiding us on how to think and what to do, are all around us. Within the plethora of information, what I am seeing is more people are more confused, and more people are alone or feeling more alone. They're stressed out, and they never seem to reach that shore where they feel like they've made it, they're enough, they have what they wanted, where they can actually enjoy all that they've created for themselves, all that they have made happen and manifested. People have become engaged in an endless search for perfection and completion. As consciousness has risen, we want to know more, but it seems like there's always more. And many people are lost in this. And so they're experiencing less peace and more fear of everything. You name it. They're afraid of everything. And I see this with the people I work with, and I see it with friends, I see it with family. I see it at colleagues. We talk about this as well. And we see where people, there's a never-ending search for the answers. So I began asking myself, that there are so many teachers, there's so many coaches, self-help books on love and relationships, on effective communications and emotional intelligence, on consciousness rising and how to interpret that and activate it. So I'm asking, why are people finding love such a battle zone? Why is it so hard to move into love and stay in love? The energy, the actual energy of love, like a state of being. Why is it so hard for them to lose their mind and follow their heart? Why aren't people happier and getting together? As in moving together in harmony and relationship, creating loving relationships and love of all kinds, partnerships, whether it's professional or personal, romantic, family, within society, within our political framework, for instance, which is a hot topic right now. And why is humanity not moving into harmony with itself, even within our planet, within Mother Earth? That place where love is everywhere and where people love who they are and what they are doing and who they are being. Why? Why aren't we closer to that at this point? That's my favorite question. Why? Now, as I always do, when I come up with these questions, is I start to dig really deep to find what is the common denominator. And if you've been following my lessons, you know that I work from the premise that only love is real. That is a common denominator. And the opposite of love is fear. It isn't hate. Hate is part of the fear factor. It's fear. And so I dig down and I find always that the common denominator is love or fear, which is the absence of love. And I found that what's happening is it's all about mind control. There's a lot of mind control going on right now. And mind control has taught people to lose heart and deny love. Specifically, mind control, it pretends to be truth oftentimes. It pretends to be an open mind, when in fact it is a closed mind. It's a hypnotized mind. Oftentimes it ends up being a faking out of our minds and tricking our minds. Now, sometimes this can be a really good thing, but mind control alone is not enough. We have to have heart, and within the heart is love. That love is what propels us towards what is the greater and more good for ourselves. So, in a paradigm where the mind becomes king, the heart becomes a slave. This is an unbalanced energy of the immature masculine. It is heartless. It wants control and power, and it seeks to win no matter what the cost. It wants to be right. Again, it's heartless. And we have all felt the pain of that sword, when someone is being heartless, or when it feels like something is heartless towards us. It's not pretty, and it's extremely painful. Yet there is another way, a way in which we can win the war on love. So how do we do that? By allowing the mind to serve the heart through the way of love. For a win-win, the mind king needs a love queen. And that's where I come in. Now, before we go any deeper into this program, I want to take a moment so that we can set an intention for this time together. As we always do, I want to focus on opening our hearts during this time together. So let's say right now, say to yourself, wherever you are, I open my heart to hear what I need to hear. Now focus on opening your mind during this time together. And say to yourself, I open my mind to hear what I need to hear. Now please do get comfortable wherever you are. Close your eyes and focus on your breath, for it is your breath through which you connect to all within and all without, as above and so below, the seen and the unseen. Now I want you to ground yourself in your body, connecting more deeply to my voice, allowing yourself to become truly present where you are, breathing in and breathing out, physically and energetically blowing out all that does not serve you, in and breathing out, releasing all that is impeding your ability to feel, to hear, to receive, and to understand. In and out. Good. That's very good. Now, we have established a frequency of love and intimacy for our time together. Feel that? You know, I love when you move into love with me. Now let's talk about the mind. and how it fits into the mix of who we are and our power. Human beings are complicated systems of energy. We are both human and divine, whether we admit that to ourselves or not. Therefore, we have many aspects to the self. The mind is one of those aspects. The mind is where our psychological and intellectual activity occurs. It's where our thoughts live, both our subconscious and our thinking thoughts, as well as our consciously chosen thoughts. The mind is also where the ego and the id live, and the super id, also known as the parent. Now, we also have an inner child, yet the child lives in our heart. While we have a brain which allows us to execute the process of thought, the mind is both human and divine. Therefore, it is much more powerful and greater than the limits of the physical brain. This is obvious to anyone who has ever meditated and been transported to past lives or faraway horizons or into the turret of the castle in intimate conversations with God. Therefore, the mind is in its fullness and its potential is connected to both heaven and earth within us. Other aspects of our multidimensional human divine selves include the physical body, the soul, and the heart. The physical body is your flesh, your organs, your cellular makeup. It is your hands and feet, your mouth, your teeth, your belly, your butt, all of who you are physically. In general, your body needs its parts to be healthy and whole as a human being. Yet, as with the mind, the physical body is also divine, as experienced through your chakra system, which, when activated by your breath, truly the breath of life, it connects you to your divinity, specifically by connecting you to your soul. Your soul is another part of you, another aspect of self. It's the direct cord that connects you to God. It is, in other words, the divine link, the never-to-be-severed umbilical cord, the primal DNA that comes from the Creator who created you. Through your soul, you are like a scoop of God. You're endowed with the essence and qualities of God, forever claimed, forever loved, and forever connected. Through the soul, you are a conduit through which, with your free will, you can contain and flow the power and intention and the love of God. Your soul is the energetic field, the force field that connects all the aspects of self together, both human and divine. And it has life within the body, as long as you have breath. Once breath ceases, the soul then disconnects, or some would say liberates itself from the other aspects of self and returns to God for a vacation, I like to call it, and awaits new orders. This is why I call it we are a solar system, as in S-O-U-L, solar system. Now, we also then have a heart. The human heart, like the brain, the organ, the heart as an organ, is limited by body health and breath. Yet the heart of man is so much more than just a human organ. It is here that the intersection of all comes together as God in us in all aspects. It is where our emotions live, our feelings. This is where all is catalyzed between heaven and earth. It is the home of the human spirit. The heart is where the human spirit is housed, nurtured, and nourished. Therefore, it is the home of our spirituality. And the heart is where love lives. And love is the breath of God, and it lives in the heart of man. So that's an overview of the entire system that we are, and I thought that was really important to point out, because it's really important that if we want to understand the mind and we want to understand this war on love that's happening, we need to understand the parts of ourselves and where we're giving our power to. In my work with clients, what I see that oftentimes one aspect of the self is being is in power. You know, when something is not working right, or something is off, or something is not healed, or if a person is stuck, one part is usually in power or disempowered. And sometimes you'll have a part that's not having any power at all. And so right now what I'm seeing obsessively is happening is that many, many people are very much stuck in the mind. And they're unable to control that. And what happens is that they then lose touch with the love that they are. And the aspects of love that we have within ourselves we have three aspects. We have self-love, and we have love of the other. So that's relationship love, no matter what kind of relationship that is. You know, I talked about relationships a lot in lesson 2. If you would like to take a listen to that on YinRadioTV at YouTube, the lesson is archived. So just take a listen to that, and it talks about relationships. But then the third kind of love is the love that is divine love. It's the love of God. It is that holy trinity that connects us, and that is where that is the continuous and the full breath of love within us. And if anything is unhealthy there, then we will notice we will have problems, you know, within our happiness and our relationships and within the love of self. But getting back to this point of that, the aspects of self, when one of those aspects is out of alignment, when one of those aspects is being diminished or muted or lost or turned off, this is when a person is having trouble finding success in some or all areas of their lives. They're not able to heal. They're not able to move forward. They're not able to step back into their power and realize the joy of being a fully actualized human being. Now, when I talked about all these different parts of self, you know, a lot of times, you know, what we can end up feeling is a bit unsettled as we face all the aspects of ourselves. And we bring them together, and they're all vibrating because they're seen and they're acknowledged. So it can be very uncomfortable and unsettling. So I want to take a moment to join in harmony and realize that together here, all of us that are listening, whether it's now or if you listen to this recording, that you're pulling together all the aspects of yourself, allowing yourself to fully awaken tonight to this message. It's very exciting. It feels very exciting and very turned on when you bring all those aspects of yourself to the table. You feel very much alive when you have every part of you working with you, for you, as you. The intersection of all of those things happens in the heart. It's what I call the true sexy, where all that is human within you meets all that is divine within you, in harmony with God, in harmony with love. And as you know, God is love. So I'm going to ask right now that God be with you. Embrace that in, pull that in. Yes, God right here and right now is with you, with us. Because we're bringing all parts into awareness during this lesson. Ooh, feels great, doesn't it? It's amazing. Now, I want to tell you a story because I want to talk about, you know, how hard it is for people to address this idea of mind over heart. There's a lot of dialogue out there. There's a lot of this is part of this whole war on love and this mind control, is that literally there are many, many teachings out there that have moved people to pick one or the other, and it's sort of become this debate. I have a friend who is very successful in many areas of his life. He's done very well for himself. You know, he's achieved a certain status, and he's achieved a certain, physically, as far as worldly goods, he's doing very well. He's wealthy. And he swears by mind control. He swears that if you control the mind, you control your thoughts, that you will have all that you desire. And yet, the funny thing is that he has everything that he wants except love. Decades have gone by, and the man continues to search for love, to bring love into his life in a real form of loving, romantic, fulfilling, in all ways, relationship. He's done all the work, read all the books on the mind, how to master it, how to get controlled, how to have discipline, how to choose the thoughts, and yet he can't seem to find and keep love. He moves in that direction, but it doesn't happen. So over time, we would talk about this, we would debate it, and then he recommended this book called As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. It was written a long time ago, and it's kind of one of those books that a lot of people swear by. And it's a great tool, it's a great resource. I think you should take a look at it. But what I will tell you is it's very focused on the mind, and it's very much denying of anything having to do with feelings. It's almost as if it believes that the feelings are something that you make up and that they're not real. And so we would debate this, and we continued to talk about that, and I read the book as he recommended, and I got to this place where you control your thoughts, you control your mind, you decide what you're going to think. But I realized that I started to kind of fake myself out. I started to choose my thoughts, and I was no longer in touch with my body. I was no longer in touch with my emotive body, and no longer in touch with my feminine side. I was very much stuck in the masculine and trying to basically control my thoughts. But I wasn't being authentic within myself. So I started to push back on this. I started to push back. There was nowhere in all of that did I feel love. You can't think love. You've got to feel love. You can't think it. You can think about it. You can think about having it. You can think about how to be more loving. But you cannot feel love through a thought. You feel that through the heart. And so we would get in this debate about feelings. And ultimately, I remember one time saying to him, well, your feelings, you have to feel what you feel. You have to be honest with yourself and notice what you're feeling and then deal with what those feelings are. And especially around love, you have to deal with that. And basically he pushed back and said, no, I don't think that. I don't believe that. I don't think that. Aha. And therein lies the problem. And making the mind king and controlling the thoughts, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to manifest love. Love manifests and is born in the heart. Now back to the mind and mind control. Since the information technology era exploded and the internet, we now have access to an enormous amount of information. It's coming at us nonstop 24/7 through every technology portal, including this one, right? We're using technology. It is all around us in every form of media. Technology has invaded and affected us in very positive ways, but some might also say it's infected us in every part of our lives. Work, home, relationships, intimacy, communication, all of it. And so it's both good and bad, but it's everywhere. I mean, what will we do without technology, right? So while we have more power to do more faster and reach further, we also take on the energetic stress of constant hyperconnectivity. Hyperconnectivity that energetically affects our entire solar system. This whole explosion brought with it a sort of mania energy. Mania to know more, learn more, stay connected all the time, be ahead of the game. And then controlled systems filled with controlled ideology, controlled cultures, and controlled information quickly became uncontrollable. Some of that was good. Light started to explode through technology. All of a sudden, consciousness reached out across the globe as an enormous amount of new information came into the mind of people all over the world. Barriers broke down, allowing limited beliefs to be questioned limitlessly. Now, while this allowed light to expand, darkness expanded, and the energetic human divine system started to become overloaded with both the light and the darkness. And then the mind of man and woman, it started to go bananas. Now, as a former PR guru, in PR and marketing, we used to talk about the unmet need. So what emerged with this explosion and the mind going bananas was an unmet need. The need to get control of what was out of control, to get control of the mind overwhelmed by so much information. And the self-help movement was born and has since exploded in the marketplace, giving us massive amounts of guidance, direction, plans of action, 6 steps to do this and that, systems and protocols, maps and processes. All of this has been downloaded into the minds of man. Mind over matter became the mantra. We were taught to get quiet and silence the mind, then choose our thoughts like we choose our clothing. We were told that thoughts become things, so control your thoughts, and then basically things would follow. Detach and don't take things personally. Observe without participation, like a witness. Stay positive. It came from everywhere. Guidance on how to tame and control our minds. Yet what also happened was a massive need to look for truth. We wanted to be more free, and that helped us to be more free, but we also needed more truth. Now, the self-help movement did start with good intentions, and mostly it's filled with good intentions. There's a lot of good guidance out there, so much to learn and know, taken in through the mind into our solar system. We're hoping it reaches the heart, though, the heart of man and woman. And I'm definitely a true believer in learning and continuing to learn until your last breath. But what also happened is we had to learn how to handle the myriad of temptations and distractions. And overall, we had to learn how to keep things from everything was starting to get out of control. Then social media exploded. Suddenly, man had a new power, the power to project his thoughts and fears outside of himself and herself. And the powers that be harness that power too, and the power of all of media to get control again. Truth was not the goal any longer. Getting control of the mind of man became the goal. So what has resulted, personally and collectively, is an obsession with man trying to control man's mind and woman's mind through thoughts. And the world and all its factions trying to do the same. Everybody is trying to tell everybody what to think and what to do. Back to overload. Back to systematic brainwashing, which is exhausting, which leads to capitulation, which is the plan of mind control. So we have to be very diligent on how we handle the mind, that we pay attention to the mind, that we bring love to the mind. Now, don't get me wrong. The mind is a powerful tool, yet it's a tool. It is not the altar or the castle. It helps us to get things done. It helps us to have discipline and make good choices. It helps us to plan and communicate. It helps us create and imagine. Yet the mind, because of its makeup, also allows us to fear, to detach, to rationalize, and to deny. The mind is where destruction is birthed, as well as corruption and all manner of darkness. The mind is the seat of the ego, and the ego, by its very nature, wants control. And because of where it lives, it works through the mind. So it easily will rationalize and deny the other parts. We must pay attention to what's happening with our mind. To not become a slave to the mind. To make the mind a slave to love. For love is the core of who we are. It is the source of our being. To be a fully realized human being, to be truly fulfilled and happy, we need our other parts. We need the heart fully alive and operating as the source within us. You see, darkness is never born within the heart of man. It is born in the mind. By the mind trying to get control, to get its way. And so the mind is moved into a war with the heart, a war on love. Because it wants control. And love is free. Love is divine. Now I want to tell you a little story about why so many people have moved towards the mind and they've moved away from the heart, and how this war on love has happened. There was a little boy who used to watch his dad beating his mother. And on it would go, and he was just a little boy, and he did not feel that he could do anything to protect his mother. It was horrific to him. He felt helpless. He was afraid. He felt small. And he felt a lot of psychic pain. Psychic pain at not being able to protect the woman that he loved, his mom. And so what he did, what he did was that he would hide from that. He would try to hide from the pain. But he also loathed the fact that he wasn't man enough. He wasn't courageous enough to speak up and tell his father to stop it. Stop what you're doing. Stop beating my mom. And so the mind started to take that experience and it started to try to find a place to move away from the pain, the ongoing pain year after year during the beatings. And so the mind, as it will do, it will try to find a safe haven. A haven from this pain. And so the little boy gradually decided that so he didn't have to feel the pain of not being able to protect his mother, to not have to feel the pain of this being something that was horribly wrong and unjust. He decided his mother must deserve it. And he started reflecting within himself and owning to why the mom should be beaten. Basically taking on everything that the father said and used and talked about and would say on why the mother should be beaten. This was the way that the little boy moved away from the pain. And he took that within himself and he carried that with him. He carried that way of being about love and about relationship with women. And he carried that into every single relationship he then had later. And every time he would feel pain in relationship, when anything would happen, he would move back into that modality, that it was the woman's fault, she deserved it. And that was how he would rationalize it, so he could stay away from the pain of feeling the heartbreak that came with what happened. Now, this is how the mind works. It's not necessarily, while we will rationalize, it will also rationalize what is not rational, what is not true, what is not loving, to save itself from the pain. People will do, I've learned through coaching for so many years, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients, that people will work so hard to move away from the pain. They will do whatever they can do to move away from diving into what is painful psychically, but also emotionally painful to them. And so this little boy had problems with relationships repeatedly and could not find a way to have a healthy relationship with a woman, because this irrational thought was not healed. The mind did not save him. It wasn't until he went into the heart and did the work and started to learn about love and allow his feelings to be what they were and deal with the feelings and deal with the pain and move into the heart space, which definitely feels like you're out of control. The emotional space is very scary for a lot of people. But we are, as Eve Ensler has said so many times, we are emotional creatures. And this is actually it's our saving grace that we are. And only by going into that heart space could this man be healed, so that he could move into love, trust love, feel that love was safe, that love didn't hurt, and remove all of that were boundaries to having love, which opened up everything. Every relationship in his life opened up through that power of love. Now, the heart is where our humanity is based. It is where we feel all there is to feel, good and bad. Yet the good is priceless. It is the heart where we learn, by engaging in the heart space, it's where we learn to love ourselves and love others. We learn to set boundaries out of love for ourselves and set boundaries so that others may learn how to love us well. It is in the heart space that we learn to communicate our desires and our needs and safety. It's where we allow ourselves to be loved and love actively, fully. The heart is also where we allow ourselves to know God and experience the love of the universe. And very importantly, it's where we feel compassion and passion. The heart is where joy breathes and enthusiasm is ignited. The heart, yes, it contains our pain, but the pain within the heart space drives us to heal and to learn, to rise, and to grow. The heart is that place within us where our spirit lives that pushes us to not give up, to continue to try, to take risks, to forgive, and to heal. The heart is where we get our courage. The courage to say and speak our truth in our work and our lives. It's the courage. It's the heart where that courage is, where people, where firefighters, they have that heart. They have so much heart that they run into burning buildings to save people's lives. It's in the heart where we have fortitude and persistence and diligence. And only with the heart can we learn to stay in love, to allow ourselves to be fully human and fully divine. At the core of our being as human beings, we all crave to be seen and loved. All of us. People will go and say that, the mind will say, oh, I don't need to be loved to be valuable. But we do. We do need to know that we are loved. And that is the gift. That is the gift that we have within us to share with others so that they feel loved. It's the gift that God gave to us, and saying, I will love you no matter what. No matter what. There is nothing you can do to lose my love. That unconditional love is saving grace. And I talk about that. I talk about that kind of love in my book, which I will soon be announcing the title of. And I'm nearly finished the book, and I'm very excited about this because learning how to love unconditionally is what will save the world. Only love can save us. Only love can save us. So I want to take a moment to move into the energy of love. We talked a lot about the mind and talked about the heart, but I want to move us now into that energy of love. Please close your eyes. And in your mind, repeat after me. You can say it out loud or you can say it in your mind, whatever works for you. I am love. I am loved. I am worthy of love. I surrender my mind, and I fill my mind with love. I surrender, knowing that only love is real. And I choose love because I am love. Now sit a moment quietly and feel that. Love is alive and breathing. And we move into the energy of love, the mind is calm and is peaceful. It has no need for anything but the love that is there. This is fulfilling. There's no need to control, to overanalyze, to decide who is right. Or to judge. It's from this state that we can truly bring ourselves to say to another person, peace be with you. Amazing, isn't it? Amazing how we move into the energy without any need to follow any rules, to figure out a plan, to have mind mantras. We just move into the state of love, and we can feel that we are loved. It's that easy. It's that easy because only love is real, and if you move into the space, you're able to stay in that love. From this place, we can then go and we take it out into the world, and we take it into everything we do, and we don't have to deny to the mind. We don't have to rationalize the mind. We just move into love, and suddenly we're able to see clearly what being love is for us, what we need to be in love with us, as us, for us, what we need to be in love for others, what isn't love, and what is love. I can't tell you how many people that I've coached that go into relationships, whether it's business or personal, and they start with the rules and the mind, and it's going, and what about this, and what about this? Well, if she does this, or he does this, this means this, or it should mean this, it should mean this, and if that means that, then I'm disrespected. Or I'm not loved. And I'm not saying we don't take a look at those things. We need to take a look at those things. But when we start with what is love and what isn't love, and we communicate that clearly to ourselves and to others, all the other things start to fall away. We're able to stay in love, and suddenly choices become easier. We're able to walk away from what doesn't serve us without so much pain, staying in love and choosing love. One of the things that people say is that, that when it comes to the heart, it's all about integrity. We want to follow the heart. And the heart is all about integrity. It's all about the essence of who we are, the heart of us. Integrity, a lot of people talk about integrity as doing what's good, a certain standard of something. But that's not actually what integrity is. Integrity is when we individually are in alignment with our values. When our actions and our words and all that we do and say and create, it's when it's all in alignment. Our choices are in alignment with our true values. What happens when we move out of love is we don't have alignment. We have misalignment. And oftentimes the reason for this misalignment is in the mind. It's in the mind. Either the mind is being lazy, weak, confused, obsessed, lost. There's a lot of confusion in the mind. But when we move into the place of love, it's very clear, what do you love? You ask yourself, what do you love? And then it's really funny, you move into this place where you're in integrity. You're able to operate from a place of integrity. And then your entire world does start to change. And that is all based in the heart, where love is. I'd like to share with you another one of my meditations. I shared one in Lesson 1, and it will soon be available on my website, RoryKellyConnor.com. It's an upcoming CD MP3 set of bedtime meditations that I'll be sharing in the next few weeks. And I want to share one of these meditations with you, and it's called Let It Go. And this is how I want to end tonight's lesson. So you can take this with you and let it go. Let go of the mind. Think about this mind control and how it's operating on you. And let's move into this energy of this meditation. I'm glad you've come to me tonight. Let's sit here by the warmth of the fire. Your energy is heavy with this burden that you carry. You've been carrying it a long time, and it's time to let it go. Tell me about this thing you can't let go. This person, this idea, this job, this home, this habit, this ache. See it in your mind's eye. Then move it into your heart and see it clearly within your heart. Feel what you feel around it, no matter what you feel, good or bad, negative or positive. Feel it. Feel it and give that feeling a name. The pain, the urgency, the stress, the longing, the heaviness, the angst. Where is that feeling? Is it in your head? Or is it really, truly now in your heart? Find it in your body, locate it, and hold it there. Come closer to me now. Lean back into me so I can wrap my arms around you. Bring the feeling with you, and let's blend our energies together. Lay your head back against my chest, relaxing. Relaxing every part of you and bringing attention to your body. Relax your neck, relax your face, relax your jaw, relax your mouth. Close your eyes and feel me massaging your scalp, kneading your mind. Relax your shoulders and now your chest. Relax your belly and your hips. Relax your arms and your hands. Relax your legs and now your feet. Feel into me as if I'm a sweet boat of love, soft and supple, warm and sensual. Feel into me carrying that feeling, that burden, that person or that thing you haven't been able to let go. We move away from the fire now, and we're floating out into the night. We are on this boat together now, and your burden is with us. Just feel into me as the angels come and move us out into the flow. See the night and the sky above us filled with clouds, dark, moody clouds mixed with moonlight. You feel the water carrying us along into the darkness. Close your eyes and feel the flow, even if it frightens you. Lean deeper into me. I am here and you are safe with me. We can feel the wavy current now, the choppy water playing to the moon. You can feel the warm air brush against you as we move out further into the flow. Your lips feel the spray from the waves as we make our way deeper away from the shore. You want to turn your body now and bury your face into my breast. But I still you as I lean down and I kiss your brow, whispering, hush now, love. We are almost there, and you can feel the burden getting lighter. And then you feel a shift as love surrounds the boat, flowing over the sides and making you wet with love. You want to struggle at first, but it feels so good. You feel it wrap around us like 1,000 smiles and caresses. We are floating safely now, part of the flow. The boat is gone, and we feel the hands of the divine. It's exciting. It's joyful. Now look at the burden and say its name and tell it you don't want it anymore. Tell it it's time to let go. Tell the angels to take it from you and feel the flow all around you. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. It's been my pleasure to be here with you, to talk to you about mind control. Thank you for joining me tonight and listening to Yin Radio. I'm Rory Kelly Connor, and I'm the Love Queen.